Microsoft had organized an event last year, Ignite Keynote 2022. This event generally talked about Microsoft 365, but Microsoft revealed something by mistake. A screenshot was shared on Microsoft Teams app in the opening speech of the event, but this screenshot wasn't an ordinary one because the OS in the image didn't match any OS on the market. So, this screenshot was neither from Windows 11 nor Windows 10. So, what was this OS? Did they mistakenly show Windows 12? Today, we will take a closer look at this OS, which we believe is Windows 12. So, let's get started. Now, before starting the video, I would like to talk about the sponsor of this video, KeysFan. KeysFan offers cheap and legal OEM software keys in an easy way. You can activate software such as Windows and Microsoft Office in a fast and reliable way with these keys that are 100% official and suitable for online activation. Moreover, they offer lifetime after-sales support in addition to 24/7 customer support. Don't miss KeysFan mega discount if you are interested. You can check the links in the description, add the product you need to your cart, and catch 50% discount for Windows series with TMTV 50 and 62% discount for Microsoft Office and bundle with TMTV 62. Don't forget to check the descriptions for details. Now, let's talk about our main subject. How will Windows 12 be? This is the screenshot mistakenly shown in the event, but it is blurry because the image quality significantly decreases during the event. The image is redesigned to match the blurred state, and as a result, we have the operating system. When we take a closer look at the image, the first thing that catches our attention is the taskbar below. As you can see, we have a floating taskbar. This means the taskbar is not crumped under the screen. We can see that Microsoft is trying to get rid of the fixed taskbar, which we can see in Windows 11, 10, and previous versions. Other than the taskbar, there are major changes at the top. Just like smartphones, there is a notification section on the top right that shows the time, date, and charge level. The weather is on the top left. We have limited resources to review Windows 12, but I think Windows 12 resembles to macOS interface. We can see that Windows started to look more like macOS. Some people might like or dislike it, but I don't know if you have noticed that the buttons are getting bigger. The edges of the buttons become more oval. We evolve into softer window frames rather than the sharp window frames of Windows 10. Windows seems to make the user interface more like a touchscreen, and it is doing this slowly. As you know, the majority of Windows users use a mouse and keyboard. It isn't possible to suddenly shift to the touchscreen, so this new design seems to help users to shift to a new touchscreen interface without feeling too alien. You might ask why we need this transition rather than using the touchscreen interface. I want to explain it like this. Microsoft tried making this transition fast before, and it failed. I think you all remember Windows 8. With Windows 8, Microsoft did something it never tried before. It completely changed the start menu and added a touch start menu. The result was a disaster. Every Windows version after Windows 95 had a similar start menu, and no one got used to the new start menu with giant buttons that came with Windows 8. Most people retrieved Windows 8 upgrade to Windows 7. Windows 8 was far away from 7 in terms of success. After all that, Microsoft fixed all these issues, developed Windows 8.1, and had to release it a year after Windows 8. As you can see, many innovations that might seem small might cause huge problems, and Microsoft seems to learn from this mistake. This Windows 12 image, which might be shown by mistake, might also be a lie by Microsoft to learn the views of the people about the new operating system. You never know, Microsoft might be trying to learn people's opinions with this image. This is a detail. As I said, Windows started to look more like macOS. Since it started to look like macOS, there are some good macOS properties desired by the users, including me, which can be added to Windows. One of them is live screensaver wallpapers. We can apply these live wallpapers in macOS to Windows as well, but we need third-party programs. This leads to trust issues. Windows Vista's highest version Ultimate, which was released in 2007, had this property, and it was known as Dream Scene. This property enabled you to create live wallpapers, but this property didn't live long. It was removed in Windows 7. It was logical to remove it because this property used the resources of the computer and increased the workload. But the properties and power of the computers of that time were limited, and it has been more than 16 years. If we look at the developments in processors, RAM, and graphic cards, I don't think this property will cause a problem. So, I think this property should come back with Windows 12. Another property that should come with Windows 12 is the desktop widgets. These desktop widgets in macOS actually were there for Windows 7. Although these widgets were not practical in those days, we could check the weather, view the calendar, and directly see processor use with them. But this property was removed with Windows 8. On the other hand, when we look at the new widgets with macOS Sonoma, we can add widgets similar to iPhones to our desktop. These widgets look better and are more functional than those in Windows 7. Actually, Windows 11 has these widgets, but these are in a separate Windows and not as versatile as macOS Sonoma. So, it might be better to have this property in Windows 12. Sources on various websites state that Microsoft is already working on that. According to the sources, Microsoft will add similar widgets like in Windows 7 to Windows 12. These will be fixed on the desktop. This way, Windows 12 will have a more modern look. Another property that should be in Windows 12 is, actually this not an entirely property, I think confusion should be solved. Windows in general has a settings problem. The settings are complicated. For example, the control panel is one of them. Control panel should never exist. It should be a part of the existing settings window rather than a separate window. So, I think the control panel should be removed and embedded in the settings with Windows 12. This will make it easy for new computer users. Of course, it doesn't mean that all these properties and details will be launched with Windows 12. Moreover, we are not even sure that the name will be Windows 12. We just assume that the name will be 12 according to previous versions. This is a prototype, and the design can change completely in the following months and years. These types of sharing occurred before Windows 8, claiming that Windows 8 was leaked, and it will be like this. None of these claims came true. The same thing can happen here. There is a lower possibility because the source is directly Microsoft. So, when will Windows 12 be released? According to online information, which is not certain, Windows 12 will be released in 2024 or 2025 under the Next Valley name. 2024 is more logical because we have this. As you can remember, Windows 7 was released in 2009, Windows 8 in 2012, and Windows 10 in 2015. In those times, Microsoft released a new operation system once every 3 years. If we look at the Windows 11 release date, it was 2021. According to most of the leaked information, Microsoft will go back to this old policy. So, it is believed that Windows 12 will be released in 2024. Of course, none of these are certain. I should warn you guys about that. While Windows 12 looks interesting with this floating taskbar and other properties, we need to wait for exact information. Okay, we can finish the video now. Thank you for watching. I would like to thank KeysFan for sponsoring the video. I would like to remind again, you can check the links in the description to benefit from the KeysFan mega discount. If you have any video recommendations, you can write it in the comment. If you liked the video, you can hit the like button, and if you didn't like it, you can hit the dislike button. See you in our next videos. Take care and bye.